Hello everyone, welcome back to primotimes. I need to give you an update. It's been too long since you've heard from me and know what's going on with the ambulance. So I want to bring you up to date with just a few things. This is my rear camera view for traffic camera, for dash cam. Right now it's powered by a battery bank, but once I get things going and the wiring actually under control, this will be powered by the ambulance batteries itself. And another thing that's done now permanently are the two dash cameras for the front. I have my 2K unit, which you will see on the videos to and from the East Coast, Nova Scotia, which I published a month or two ago. And then this is my 4K camera. This is the camera I will try to use for most of my dash cam videos that you'll see ongoing from now. And then over here I was able to mount my GPS unit onto the same arm or housing that the radar unit sits on, and that makes it very sturdy, convenient spot, and it takes up one less mount that I need to use, and that's a good thing. Now, before we move on to a couple of other very important things, I need to tell you about one other situation, and it's very serious in my life, and it's going to affect me, it's going to affect the ambulance, it's going to affect my progress. As you know, I've been suffering from some PTSD, which in itself triggered a medical condition that I have, which now has a name. And my ongoing problems are going to be a fight, but I've also run into another fight, and that is that the City of Ottawa, my employer, is no longer going to pay me. And I have the full story. I don't want to go through it here right now. I might post another video going into more detail about what has happened. But just below this video, at the very top of the description, you'll see a link to my GoFundMe page. You don't need to feel obligated to donate or give any money on that page, but that page gives you the whole story. So click on that link just below in the description. While you're down there, tap the like. Oh, it would be over here actually, or over here. Tap the like, and if you want, please subscribe, and that way you'll keep up to date with any of the news that comes along. And I don't post willy-nilly frivolous episodes. I only post important things. That's what I've always said. Only things that I need to tell you or show you how things are going in my life or with the ambulance. So again, just look below in the description, the very top of the description, the very top thing, the very top, you'll see a link for a GoFundMe. In there is a detailed article of what I'm going through right now. And please just give it a moment after I'm done talking. Check that out, and you'll know where things are. So another thing that started to bother me over the months and weeks of driving is the front driver's visor. I had to go ahead and replace that because there was a broken piece on the end, and that went in quite well. You know, you have to fight screws where you can't see where the holes are, but yeah, that's modern technology. And I believe that is this way. There we go. And yeah, it holds itself in place. Let's give this a go. Hopefully it threads right into the metal bits on the body. And I think it is. I think it is. And another thing that I ran into a little while ago, I think I mentioned it in a previous video, and that was my transmission fluid leak. A very serious situation. However, it was a very minor part. In fact, the part was less than $15. But my mechanic had told me it was going to be close to $600 to fix it. So I did a lot of research, on YouTube, of course, and I was able to find the fix. It took me about an hour and 15 minutes to actually do the job. And as well, you want to talk a messy job, that was my brake master cylinder had locked up, or what had happened was I think the fluid got dirty, and in doing so I could apply the brakes, but then when you took your foot off the brakes, the whatever application you gave would stay there. So you'd give the gas pedal a push, you could probably start moving the first time, but after your next application, forget it. They were locked up solid, and the engine is so powerful. I was able to move at one time. I had to move to a spot off the roadway, and the front brake discs were so hot. They were like cooking. They smelled bad, they looked bad. What a situation, terrible. But then I found out a certain part on the master cylinder, actually where one of the lead-ins join from the front brakes. I was able to break that, bleed off some fluid, and then I could move the ambulance. Anyhow, I ended up replacing the master cylinder with a really good one and put in new fresh fluid. Here's a picture of the old fluid. Yuck. That stuff was terrible. And man, did it stink. It stunk. It was really bad. I didn't think like an oil lubricant would do that, but the brake fluid, it was so bad and terrible. It actually had a horrific smell to it. It was awful. I'm glad I replaced that. Now, another thing that happened, in fact, this was in June when I still had money that I could afford to do things. I got the ambulance undercoated for the second time. And the crew, it's the same place I took it to a year ago. They were actually able to do a quick inspection and tell me that they thought everything looked really good underneath. The frame, all the components, everything looked really good. And they did the undercoating for the second time. And it was under $200. An absolute valuable thing to have done. Anybody should do that if they can. Another thing that I did just recently was replace my air filter. When I first brought the ambulance home a year ago now, it's hard to believe it's been 1 year, I put a brand new air filter under the engine. That was just normal. The other one that came with the ambulance wasn't so bad, but the putting a new one in, you just know it's breathing free and clear. You're getting good air into the engine, and you're the hero. However, I decided to pop in a K&N air filter. Now, these are claimed to be, performance air filters. They allow a lot more breathing through, but the good thing is you don't throw them out. You keep washing them, and you keep reusing them by washing and then treating with a type of mineral oil that coats the filter material and allows you to get that same super breathing, better mileage. Your engine works easier and apparently maybe cooler, and the idle and firing of the engine is much better because of all that. So I also cleaned the mass airflow sensor, which is right off from the filter, when I put the new K&N filter in. And it was an easy job, actually. They come pre-oiled, you just pop it in. They say you can go several years without having to replace the K&N filter, or rather clean it. However, when Vanny had her K&N, I cleaned that filter once a year. I just felt it's the thing to do. It'll make it run perfectly well. And in heart of hearts that you've done your best and the engine is going to be just fine. And you know what? It only takes 15 minutes and then one evening to dry the air filter, and then you're good to go. So another project I'm into, trying to get done, are the two rear doors. The bottom lock system in the rear doors, both of them I assume, I only have one torn apart, but it is rusted really bad. I don't know if I can save that mechanism. If not, I may have to put in something else to hold those back doors locked. I don't know. As I've tried, I'm soaking them in anti-seize oil. I'm doing what I can to try and get those back doors working, but I don't know if it's going to happen. We're going to try because I'd like them working, but if they don't, then I'll move on to other things and then see how we can secure these doors otherwise. As you know, I also put new chrome rim covers on all four wheels, and they look just great. When this thing is cleaned up, my gosh, it gets attention. Even the real ambulances in town look at me and check me out because Ambo looks really good with those new wheel covers. Also, the headlights and turn signal assemblies are all renewed. I did that, I think 2 months ago, and fantastic. They're much more clear. The light pattern I'm getting from low and high beams, and even the turn signals are much more focused and bright. I'm glad I did that. It really makes them look a lot better. And we're outside now because I want to show you this. Now, you may not think that's anything special, but I got to tell you, both of the side turn signals just in front of the rear wheel were not working when I brought Ambo home. The wires had been disconnected because these LEDs have red and amber lights inside them. They had to disconnect them because the ambulance couldn't have operating red lights anywhere on the vehicle. So for them to decommission these lights, the easiest thing to do was just take the whole plug off. I got looking at it, took it apart one day to see why the amber lights weren't turning, flashing when I'm making a left or right turn, and come to find the whole plug was off. So I just identified which was the one I didn't need, which wire for the red, clipped that and plugged it back in, and here we go. I now have amber side warning turn signals. I like them. I could look at them for a long time. And folks, the last little thing that I'd like to let you know about is that my little pal of 18 years died. Actually, she went with me in the ambulance to Halifax to visit some friends. She hadn't been very well at home. That's why I took her with me. And at any rate, things got quite bad in Halifax and while I was there. And the next morning after we arrived, I had to take her to the vet, and that's where Maggie died. I love that little thing, and she helped me a lot, and I'll miss her. So take care, everyone. Please hang on. I have a little bit of a sound montage and sort of a history of my little friend. Take care. We'll see you next time. Touch the like, subscribe if you can, and please look at the first item in the description to find out why I am having a hell of a time in life right now. Talk to you later, folks. Stay well, and I love you all. Bye-bye. Oh, that was hard to do. Oh my.